Ready? Perfect. All right, we are joined here by head coach Erik Bushey. We'll go ahead and start off with his general thoughts on tonight's match.
General thoughts. Well, Kinsey, where would you like me to start? I'm asking for general thoughts. Okay, let's start with probably what's most important, how proud I am of our players. I told them, I pretty much telling anybody that will listen, that you can live a long time in this game. It doesn't matter if you're coaching U10, U18 Academy, Rapids 2, the first team, national team, 3-0 down at the half, 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, just when you think, surely the next goal is coming in our favor. 4-2, 4-3, 4-4, and at 4-4, there is chaos. It could have gone 5-4 either way, but only for a few minutes. And we were able to regain a measure of control, 5-4, 6-4, beautiful. This is a wonderful game. This is why I coach. And I'm proud of the players. That is not an everyday occurrence. So we'll leave it at that.
All right, Matt, take it away.
Coach, you already talked about being down 3 at the half. From my eyes, when the consistent R2 players took the field together, the show took off, and that's when we got our 6-4 game result. What does it say for those guys to just rally together in such a spectacular fashion?
Yeah, it says a lot because they, even in training this week, there's tough decisions made to those guys in the lineup, not in the lineup. Good players, starting players, not in the 20. So the feeling is once you get past the disappointment or anger, the difficulty of not being in the 20 or not being in the 11, that over the course of time, you see that we can win with a number of different players on the field. And that is a strong, strong message. If when you enter the business end of the year, you have guys believing that. It is very special when you have this, the guys who are in the training every day answering the call. But I also want to be clear on that. The guys that came off in the 60th minute, which in this case, coming from the first team with Sam and Jackson were integral in us getting the 3-1 straight away. And it is going to be different when you're not typically in the training environment. There is going to be maybe this disjointedness, and there might be more chemistry when it's the players who are there training every day. The nature of our program is we have to welcome and deal with the moving pieces, the moving players, because there's typically a lot of good, and tonight there was a lot of good, regardless of who was on the field. We made a couple errors in the first half and got punished. So it's great to say, look at the Rapids 2 group, and I appreciate the recognition there for the guys who are there every day. But everybody that participated tonight was a key contributor. And as the team deals with guys coming in and maybe an element of uncertainty that there is with new players, it's equally as difficult for the player who's coming in. So I'm equally as proud of them.
Coach, last week, Bilo Diop leaves in an ambulance. This week, he leaves with a brace.
Yeah.
What was the training like this week, him coming back from the dental and the head injury?
Yeah, he's still probably not out of the woods yet with the dental piece. But, he went through a full concussion protocol. His only full day was yesterday, so he had reached all the approvals and taken all the steps. Thankfully, when we returned on match day +2, he felt good and had no interruptions as he followed the concussion protocol. So I'm thankful for that. And we thought he could help change the game. And then within a matter of seconds, minutes, he gets the first goal. What a lovely strike, top of the box. And then, there was little question in his mind, I think, when the second pen was called that he was going to jump on it. He looks like a 9 to me. So, not the way you draw it up in terms of training throughout the week, but he was able to do enough. And our staff, our performance staff, Nick, Kat, Tori, hey, all the group, the intern did a wonderful job getting him back to health. And we saw the byproduct of that tonight.
Since you brought up pens, first pen gets called for R2. Malik Pinto steps up to the spot. You talked about last week, Malik was at the end of the PK order, but could have been a first choice goal taker. What was the PK taker decision like?
Yeah, that was him. He was, he'd missed, I don't know, some weeks ago, and everybody does. Messi misses a pen every now and again. And he was pissed that he wasn't in the top 5 in the shootout last week. So he knows he can hit him. We trust him. I didn't blink when I saw the ball in his hands. And but those are big moments, So yeah, that was big for him to step back up. And he's going to believe it. But when you put the ball in the back of the net, the belief increases. And I don't think anybody else in the group had a question with it either. So happy for him to have the confidence to step up.
Since you brought up confidence, Sidney Wathuta has the 5th goal of the night. He took an almost identical shot going the other way in the first half, skied over the goalpost. This time, buries it without a doubt. What sort of resiliency do you instill in these guys to always trust their shots?
That's actually a good question, in particular with Sidney, because he hit a few shots in the first half. We really try. We have a big emphasis on trying to upgrade our finishes to what's the higher XG to give us the best chance of scoring. But he had his shooting boots on, and I'm looking at Warner going, he's shooting from damn near everywhere, but I don't want to tell him to take his shooting boots off. Then we had one late in the half, and Sam was running through into the box, and he shot, and Sidney shot. Okay, now it's okay. You can keep shooting, but it better be a decision that you're making. So because, it was clear to me early on that he had a nose for a goal. I don't want coaching to get in the way of that. So the fact that he got one in the end in such a big goal, listen, I'm saying it week after week. He won't be here long. I'm going to keep saying it. He won't be here long. But as long as he is, I'm going to be grateful. We're going to utilize him every way we can.
And then lucky number 6, Josh Copeland, just cool as you like, dribbles the defender, pulls the goalie out in the box, sidesteps him, signs the game. Talk about Josh's performance.
Well, another good observation and statement. I talked with Cope before the game. He wanted to talk. We came together just outside. He had an excellent performance off the bench on the attacking side of the ball against Minnesota. We tried to mount a late comeback. We fell just short. We had some players come into the group, a lot of attacking players, 2 weeks ago against Dynamo, and he wasn't in the 20. I'm telling guys, good players not in the group. I'm telling everybody, stay strong. Easier said than done. Last week he's on the bench again. When he was in consideration, in fact, I might have talked to you about it. Guys that were in consideration for the first 11 weren't in the 20. Okay, so resilience, stay strong. And then today it's like, you're doing good. You're doing this, you're doing that. There's more. There are details that you could be cleaner on. And you had moments in Vancouver, even if there are half chances, that you could have put a stamp on it. You could have won the game. That you are progressing. He is progressing. But if you can have a put a stamp on it kind of play, you're going to expedite the process. The details, be a difference maker because he has the capability. Yeah, that's why I'm screaming across field tonight. Difference maker. And that's what he was tonight. The work continues. It was a great play, great game, and he's going to get his opportunities because he deserves them. But I'm stoked for him, and that was a big goal because it gave us another chance to celebrate.